time, we considered what RSI means. Today, we're going to look at how that can be achieved. Last time we talked about the definition of RSI. This time, let's talk about some ways that we can make sure we're doing that in our classes. There's a variety of approaches to this that will all lead us to good results. So one thing to think about is ways to make your students feel welcome in your class, which can contribute to RSI. Some things you can do at the beginning of the class might include creating a welcome video or creating a video that goes over how students might be successful in your course. Throughout your course, giving feedback on assignments, participating in discussions, and making regular announcements related to course material are other ways you can engage in RSI. And then finally, having your office hours well publicized and accessible to students could conceivably constitute RSI. Some examples of regular interaction, as I mentioned last time, you, the faculty member, need to initiate the contact. If you are holding virtual learning sessions, for example, if your course is synchronous and you're holding sessions on Zoom, your participation in those sessions constitutes regular interaction if they happen on a regular basis. The timing and flow of the course being set by the instructor and then you interacting throughout the course is another way to do that. Making sure that you interact with students on a regular schedule so that students expect it, say on a certain day of the week, also makes it regular. Announcements that you make regularly, again, not just once or twice, but throughout the quarter could be another example. And having your assignments and deadlines spread throughout the quarter also create regular interaction, depending on the types of feedback you're providing. More on that in a moment. So, how to make it substantive. Examples. If you have course discussions, in order for that to constitute substantive interaction with your class, you, the faculty member, need to be participating actively, whether that's through asking follow-up questions or giving feedback in the discussion. Also giving detailed constructive feedback on assignments rather than just a number grade, or interacting with the students after they've completed their reading or viewing of your course content. And that could include, again, discussion boards or, say, Zoom sessions or one-on-one meetings or written assignments, but some sort of interaction between you and the students after they have completed reading and viewing the course content. Making announcements to the class can be considered substantive depending on the nature of the announcements. Short announcements just reminding students of a deadline probably doesn't count as substantive, but more specific announcements, say letting students know about potential stumbling blocks or misunderstandings of the content, those sorts of things would count as substantive. Obviously, synchronous meetings where you are present and that happen on a regular basis, or creating videos to explain materials that they've read that you send out after the fact, or materials that they've viewed, of course. Contacting students regarding their progress and supporting those who need it with tutoring or one-on-one office hours meetings or other methods, that also is an example of substantive interaction. And then finally, if you have your students work in small groups and you moderate those groups, that would constitute substantive interaction. Let's look at some examples of things that are not considered RSI. One example would be if you assign readings or recordings and then don't follow that up with interactions. For example, if you assign chapters of the textbook, which are then followed by multiple choice automatically graded quizzes that don't include detailed feedback from you, that would be an example that's not RSI. Contacting your students about outside matters, while I value that, it doesn't constitute RSI. Adding grades without giving any feedback. That means like just giving a letter or number grade or a number of points without giving students feedback on their assignments, or using automatically graded assignments and quizzes. If you send infrequent or sporadic messages and announcements, meaning not on a regular schedule, that does not count as RSI because remember, the R stands for regular. Just offering review sessions before exams, midterms, that sort of thing, again, isn't regular enough to constitute RSI. And setting up forums and discussions where you don't participate. You need to be an active participant in the discussions and forums in your classes in order for that to count as RSI. There's one additional consideration that I think is worth pointing out and often gets overlooked, and that's a statement from the Department of Education. I put it in bold here. Monitoring the student's academic engagement and success and ensuring that an instructor is responsible for promptly and proactively engaging in substantive interaction with the student when needed on the basis of such monitoring or upon request by the student is part of our responsibility here. That means you should be using your course analytics in Canvas to monitor your students' engagement and performance in your classes, and proactively contacting your students who are falling behind, seem to be lacking in participation, or might need extra help. If you need any help using the analytics tools, please contact us over in eLearning, and we'd be happy to walk you through how that works. Thanks so much. Look in the notes for additional information and links that you might use to evaluate your courses and see how you could improve them to make sure that we are fulfilling the requirements and also giving our students the best possible learning environments we can so that our distance education can continue to be top-notch. Yeah!